Is the new X5 M60i a must-have performance SUV? We're showcasing the 2025 BMW X5 M60i in Marina Bay Blue Metallic over Silverstone Sense of Fin. This has the S68, which comes out of the M. This is under $100,000. We've ticked the box to two features to keep it as low in the 90s as possible. But is the detuned engine in missing the features going to be enough to tick the box? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over some pros and cons. I'm going to compare this against the competition, and we're going to see if this is worth the hype. Starting in the front, BMW LED headlights and daytime runnings. That's going to integrate into the kidney-style grille with the satin aluminum. I know, it doesn't look as athletic because we are missing some features, but it still has a sporty essence. You get the glossy black on the lower, the front parking sensors. We do have a 360-degree reverse camera. We've only added about 2 or 3 features to make this as inexpensive as possible, but keeping it as upscale as possible. So you're not gonna have real leather because you have the Sense of Fin interior. And what's housed underneath the hood is what truly makes this exceptional, because it's the 4.4 liter BMW M-Power Turbo. That's producing 523 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque paired to the 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission. Now this is detuned from the M that has 617 horsepower, but you got the same torque. 0 to 60 is around 4.2 seconds. That's what BMW is quoting. I'm sure you could get it a few tenths of a second quicker, but come on. Going light to light, I mean, you're talking like a few inches. It's not worth the argument. Achieving 17 mpgs for the city, 22 mpgs for the highway. It's a V8 twin turbo. You're not really expecting to sip fuel here. It's an X-Drive, so it's an intelligent all-wheel drive system that can send torque 100% to the rear wheel, and it should at these prices. We have 20-inch wheels. These are not upgraded. This is standard. With the blue brake calipers, you got 4 pistons in the front and a single floating caliper in the rear. It's a near 50-50 weight distribution, towing up to 7,200 pounds. The thing can do your everyday chores, plus this is a track-worthy vehicle because it's an S68. That's why it's worth the hype, because if you go into a true M, you're talking $30,000 to $50,000 more than this. And I've reviewed quite a few of the M60i in which all of them have been nearly under $100,000 except for a few which we have brought to the channel to show you all the features, which unfortunately does raise the price to over $100,000 relatively quick. And when you're at this price, I get that we're getting the engine, we're getting the M Sport suspension, but still, give me some of those luxury amenities and some of the features that we're lacking. M-Spec side view mirrors, glossy black around all the window trims, going against competition like Audi's SQ8 or RSQ8. That's kind of my favorite variant because you're getting a lot of power, a more or less detuned Lamborghini engine. I'm personally looking at purchasing one myself. But when you go this route, you're getting it so much less in price unless you're ticking the box for features. Performance-wise, this is better with the weight distribution, but there's just something about that S68 engine that makes me want to capture the M60i. As for Mercedes, they're going to be slower than this. You're going to pay a lot more money than this. Go to Genesis, they're not quite to that level, even though they've added that mild hybrid technology, which we have a 48-volt mild hybrid here. And that helps with the auto start stop feature. It's not really meant to do too much for the turbos like they do on the RSQ8, but when you get to that level, you need to go into the M. The rear is going to have standard LED tail lights. The lower keeps it aggressive with the diffuser, quad exhaust tips that's exposed with the chrome, front and rear parking sensors, so when you're comparing this against competition, hands down, BMW does an excellent job. It's going to outclass some. It's going to be right at the same par because, like I said, a few tenths of a second is not going to change the game. So is it worth the hype? I mean, which way would you go? Let me know in the comments if you would tick the box to the M60i. Power trunk going into 33.9 cubic feet. The privacy cover, 12-volt charger, bag holders, that's going to be on both sides. Underneath the floor, get some storage. You're going to have to go into the back seats in order to maximize the cargo to 72.3 cubic feet by folding the seats down at a 60-40 split or a 40-20-40 split to maximize the cargo capacity to the M60i. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. T5 to the X5 M60i. Silverstone Sensafin interior. And these cushion extensions, they actually contour to your head now, which is awesome because this is something that's found in the X7. 20-way power seat adjustment. Heated ventilated front seats because we have the climate package. And this center here is also heated. That's part of that climate package. 4-way climate control. Memory for the driver. The interior will have the carbon fiber with the ambient lighting that has the M badging. It is going to be driver focused, but you still have plenty of room here on the passenger side. But I still wish that they had a pass-through or a sleeve of storage. Let's fire it up. Engine is going to reduce power to 75% for the first 300 miles. So you don't have to worry about the break-in because it's kind of doing it for you. With BMW's curved panel 2-screen layout, this is the 14.9-inch touch screen with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. You can option things like massage seats. This also has Wi-Fi hotspot, 5G capabilities, and you can play YouTube so you can watch the video review right there on your infotainment screen. And because we have the park assist package, flip it to reverse, 360-degree reverse camera, backup assist, full trajectory for the front and the rear. Click this sub menu here that says more, and you got the 3D view that you can go all around the vehicle. Click it again, and you got the car wash view that'll show the trajectory for the front, and you still have physical buttons down here for the audio sound system. The carbon fiber opens up into a wireless charging pad, USB port, 12 volt, more carbon fiber surrounding everything. Unfortunately, they have a rocker. You have to go into the full M in order to get a gear lever. Driving mode select right here on the fly. So on the gauge cluster, that's a 12.3 digital reader. You can change it to sport, and you can change the configuration here to make it more sporty for you. You can also do the same thing when you go into Eco, so you can individually configure it or just go into an Eco Pro, as well as just a comfort. Leather wrap steering wheel, multi-function, M badging, cross stitch, paddle shifts, and you can go through an array of different content for the driver. You can also add things like AR. You can change the layout to make it a little bit more dynamic or more open. And for the heads-up display, you can also change that as well. So you have a directional view, a standard view, sport view, and a reduced view. It's going to be soft to touch here, opens up into a medium-sized storage pocket with a USB port. A long panel moonroof, LED interior lights, auto dimming rear view mirror, and check out the leg space that you have, as well as headroom. Door panel and dash configuring together nicely. The Harman Kardon comes into play here. You have the two-tone here. I kind of wish that this two-tone would go through the dashboard, but let me know what you think about that. You get the ambient lighting here, the carbon fiber, soft to touch, one touch up and down for the windows with a long storage pocket, a beverage holder carved out, and you got a little hidden pocket for the driver. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit two more with the cup holders and a storage pocket or armrest. There's the dual climate control settings, heated rear seats, two USB-C ports, a 12-volt, a storage tray, air vent, storage behind both of the front seats, and more USB ports behind both of the front seats with air vents tucked here on the side. The door panel doesn't have the sunshades, and they're not soft closed doors. You have to add more packages. It's soft to touch. You get the ambient lighting. The carbon fiber comes into play, and about the same size storage pocket. Sitting behind me, plenty of leg space. The same thing with headroom. It's a large vehicle, and it feels that way in the interior. So I appreciate that, especially when I'm sitting into the center, because it doesn't really conflict with butt, knee, leg, shoulder space, and even headroom is taken care of, and I'm at 6'3". 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque with a 50.4, 49.6 weight distribution, reaching 64.2 seconds BMW's quoting. Let's see what we can get. You get the exhaust that filters in, you get the brakes that need to grab, and they do a good job on that. I like the cracks that's coming into play. Let's see the exit. It does a great job with performance. Ultimately, why you go to the S68 engine, because it's a detuned M engine. You got the M Sport suspension, you got X Drive, which is the all-wheel drive system that's intelligent. There's just a lot going on. So is it worth the hype? It's going to take me to some pros and cons. You've heard a lot of the pros. The interior is very soft, nice and luxurious. I like the leather a little bit better, but if I'm trying to get it as inexpensive as possible, this is really the way to go, because you're not going to get the merino leather, but at least we get the 360-degree reverse camera, as well as the reverse where the vehicle can actually go the same way you went into an area. So if you're, for instance, in a one-way and you need to back up, you literally just push the assistant and it will back up the same way you went in, according to the feet that you went. So I think that's an awesome system. For $1,000, you might as well tick the box, and you have the 3D view plus the car wash view that shows the trajectory. Now, we don't have upgraded wheels. I would probably consider doing that. We don't have it in sport mode. It soaks up the bumps. It soaks up the potholes pretty good with these wheels. You don't get the exhaust note that filters in as much, so you may want to leave it more in the sport mode. And realistically speaking, it's a 4.4 liter V8 twin turbo. You want to blow out all the carbon, so you want to hit over 2-3 RPMs here and there to actually let the car breathe. I like that we receive a pretty good amount of carbon fiber. It's across all of the dashboard, on all 4 doors, and in the center cluster, so they do a good job there. Also, the headrest, you can contour these to your head. So it's literally like an airplane. 20-way power seat adjustment, that's awesome. But then having to tick the box to get the ventilated front seats, the heated armrest, I mean, I get it, I'm getting quad climate control and heated rear seats also, but come on, man. We're already over $90,000. I'm sure you could tell when I put it into Sport Plus, because now you can hear that throaty exhaust note, which is kind of a con, because I wish that it would be like a standard active exhaust note that just ticked up a little bit higher so you could really feel the excitement, because this is an S68 engine. So you know you can get the performance and the horsepower out of it, because you can get up to 617 horsepower. BMW already does that. Now, the con is when you go into the M60, you're not getting as much cooling underneath the hood either. You also lose a little bit of towing capabilities if you're looking at just a base X5. But from a base X5 to this, I mean, it's not necessarily night and day difference, but you're talking more than $10,000, $15,000 difference in price. Moving in and out of lanes, you can do so freely. I would probably add a few features instead of keeping it basic like this, but then it takes me into the competition like the SQ8, which already gives you standard features that's going to kind of outclass this. Detuned, more or less Lamborghini engine, I mean, that's special itself. The interior is not going to be as updated as this, because it still has the 3-screen layout in the front, but I'm all right with that. It has the haptic feel whenever you're touching it. This doesn't, and you still have to go through a lot of different pages in order to configure things like your climate control, your seat settings, or your AC seats. In order to get the massage seats, I get it, you have to add a package. I mean, Mercedes is gonna be more expensive, it's gonna be more soft in the seats. This is gonna be just as quiet as those variants, but you're gonna have the thrill of that S68 engine. Turn radius at more or less a stop point. It's about 8.5. Let's rock and roll. I mean, the S68 is a synthety. It is a pleasure to drive because it's smoother than an M, so you don't have to go for that extra horsepower and torque because you're getting this engine, better cushions in the seat. To me, it's worth the hype, but let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the live streams, membership, website, merchandise, TikTok, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2025 BMW X5 M60i for our car review.